Dave here. How are you? Let me see it coming in loud and clear. Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Tiffo. Don't worry about anyone else saying that it's coming through. Today is the 11th of April, and it's turned to be quite cold in Australia, or where I am anyway. And you notice we've got a cyclone way down the bottom of Western Australia coming across. I was watching the news last night. They said that we've never had a cyclone that far south. Just amazing. Amazing. All right, I trust everyone's had a good week and everyone's well. What can I say? This week on the show, I'm going to show you a little bit of video from what I've been up to during the week with this Lutyens bench behind me. Then we're going to do a little bit of work on it, and then we're going to make the legs. Now, I've made one leg already. Now, it may not look like a lot, but there's some tricks in it. And I'm also going to show you some viewers projects and a couple of tips on table saws. Something you probably might know it already, but you know, for beginners, it's a handy tip to know. So I did put some links. Isn't it more than one cyclone in Western Australia? It could be a couple. I don't know. I put a couple of links out to different groups on Facebook. Ooh, which reminds me, I better do this to say that we're live now. Give me a second. And this one, this one, this one. You'll probably get a post in a couple of seconds from Facebook as well, just saying that we're live. And I've actually put a link in there that works. You can click on it. It's in the bio. You click on that and it takes you straight in. All right, shorts and sleeveless, top that. Wow. It's a bit cooler up here. All right, so yeah, I was saying that put some links in beginners forums, because whilst a lot of the stuff I'm going to do is a little bit advanced, there are going to be tips in there that you can pick up, that you can utilize. So, you know, take from it what you can. That's basically all I'm going to say. All right, let me have a look down here and I'll see if I can find the video from the stuff done during the week. There's no sound in this, so I will talk over it. This is just showing the difference between using a marking knife and a pencil. This is the top slat in the back of the bench. And I marked it with a pencil to start, and then I thought, no, not good enough, because I've got to do a nice half lap joint here with the dado stack. And I'm going to show you how far out it can be. So, you know, and that's with a good clutch pencil. This is dropping it in, showing the way that I set it up prior to glue, just checking that everything's going to work fine. And marking on the ends there so I know where to apply glue, because I'm going to put glue on the end of that slat and also the actual underside of the arch. Yes, Steve, I have lost a few kilos. I've dropped 8 kilos and actually had to go out and buy some new clothes because the other ones were falling off me. And it's not hard to do. It's just a matter of changing eating habits. So this is the fast hardener in the West System glue. And I've used that on purpose because I didn't want it to dribble out everywhere. You'll notice underneath I've got some tape. Now that is duct tape. Don't try and use ordinary electrical tape, because the epoxy will just melt it'll melt the glue out of it and slide straight down. I found that the PVC, I think it's PVC duct tape is the best thing to use. And you'll notice those two clamps, they're in extending mode at the moment. They're pushing. So the clamp at they're a little clamp that Bessie had that you can turn a little dial on it and it pushes out instead of pulls forwards. So it's just making sure everything's nice and tight there. And all of those clamps are, I'm saving my blue shirts. Yeah, check Facebook, I'll tell you what I did. Okay, now that's looking pretty good there. And this is the little trimmer that I was using. Good morning, only recently found the channel, keen to watch more. Good on you, Fraser. And this is showing, after I've gone around with the rotex, how easy it is to go around with a little 1/4 inch round over piece, and it makes everything look like it was poured into a mold. It really does make it a lot more user friendly. Now here I'm showing you where I've got the bandsaw out and cut the shapes. And on the other side, I've also put it over the end of the belt sander. So that one there I'm going to pull out. You can see I've already done it on the belt sander. And I'll show you where I did it, right on the nose, just over there. And I didn't cut the thing to length because if I stuffed that curve up, I wanted to have a little bit more meat at the end there. I'm going to show you a little trick that I did with that. There it is right there. To put a domino mortise in the end of that small piece, I set that little jig up. And here it is glued in, pulled up nice with the clamps. And I stay with it and I just float a little bit more glue into it as it's going along because it will seep, especially when it's down on the side like that. I've got the baking paper underneath so it doesn't stick to the bench. And that's come up quite well. I'm quite happy with that. Let me get back to this other camera here. So that just gives you a little bit of a catch-up, and that's what I'm going to do this week as well. I'm going to do some more work on the bench and get it ready for us to do another glue up next week. There's a lot of work in this, but it's very rewarding, it's very enjoyable. All right, where am I up to? So that was that part. Picture the setup, sand and round over. So we're going to go over now over the back here. I'll switch cameras and I'll show you why I love the rotex. Now, I have to take the glue off, and also I've got to take about 2 millimeters, which is a little more than a 16th, thicker than a 16th, off some of these slats. I've got the camera set up so it's going to be nice and close. And I think that's that one there. Top-notch joinery, is it? Use painter tape to keep the glue off the top as well. Yeah, you could do that. All right, so here we are. This part here, you can see there's around about 2 millimeters difference here. The glue, this is the back, so the glue has seeped down. I've already pulled the tape off all of this, and I'm going to sand all of this here, and you'll be amazed at how quickly this machine works. You know, I rave about this machine all the time. This is a 150 millimeter rotex. It's around 7 years old, mine, and it works like the day I bought it. You'll notice how little dust comes out of this thing as well. It's just magic. All right, now it's going to make a little bit of noise. So here we are. Turn it off there for a second. You can see we're down to it already. I'll raise this up a little higher if I can. And maybe bring it even around here so you can have a better view of this particular part. Just here, you can see where I've used the PVA tape. I'll pull this off, and this is an area where I've come over it again to seal it because it had dribbled down inside that join because the join was a little bit open. But let's sand that and that and that. I think you can see everything there. Here we go. No dust. Done. Now while I've got it there, see all this glue here, you don't really have to get in there and go crazy trying to dig that out. So I'm going to run the trimmer now, which is the little Ryobi trimmer. It's going to throw a lot of dust around, but it's going to clean up all of this. So I'll do all of that, and then we'll get into making the leg. I might flip this over as well. Rupex, it's a rotex. All right, okay, so this is the little trimmer, and battery, I always leave the battery up when I'm not using it. It will make a little noise. I'll pull this back a touch. Actually, I'm going to raise this up one. Nearly there. I wanted to get it down nice and low for when I was doing that first part. About there. This is really cool, this part. All right, turn her on. Now this is the part that's got all the resin in it still. Bring it over a bit closer. So all the resin there is just going to disappear. I'll do this little bit here too while I've got it. Beautiful. All right. Okay, now it's all smooth to touch. I can take the earmuffs off. And now if I want to, and I do want to, I'm going to get rid of this, and then where are the sharp corners? This corner here, this is the one I want to show you. So I'll bring this down here, pull this back. Now right there is an area that would catch and cut you. So this is where I'm going to use a rasp and a file just to clean that internal corner up. Also anywhere along the inside where I've got glue that might have stuck, see just here, one of the reasons why I run the round over first is because there's less for us to remove. Now I've only got to work down the middle here with the file to clean that up, and then I can run the round over on it again. It really does make a difference. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I should really make a handle for this. Let me see if I can just sneak in there a little bit with the rasp to get it started. Yep, and now a file. I'm going to swing it around a little so I've got a bit more access. I can come in with a bit of sandpaper after. Beautiful. That's done. A little bit just there. See, what a difference. I don't know if you can see that quite as well, but that that's a whole lot more user-friendly. There's no way I'm going to catch a finger in there. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because this is the back, or where people might be picking this bench up, we need to make sure that that's really, really people-friendly. Now, I did say I was going to try and clean this up down here. So I'll pull this along to the end of the bench. And I think it's just here that I'm going to work on. All right. First of all, with the rasp. You might notice I'm going a couple of different directions with the rasp. I'm going across and then I'm going down. I'm taking the peaks off the hills, like I've got valleys and hills. So I go one direction and I go the other. Nearly there. This side's a bit sharper. Okay, file. Okay, now a little bit of sandpaper. That's my workout, isn't it? Good. And the trimmer again, one more time. It's going to make a noise. Be warned. There we go. That's that side. A little bit more sanding and it's done. How cool is that? All right. Other camera. Other camera, where are we? So, it's not too hard. It's just handles make it easier so that that tang on the end of the rasp doesn't dig into your hand. But, you know, man up. Russ in the corner, into the naughty corner. All right, where are we up to? Sand and round over, rasp and file, pictures of the template, we've already done that. Viewers projects, 20 past. We're flying along. How cool is this? Thank you, Joa. Let me see, viewers projects. I have a piece of paper here. Now you remember last week that Terry from Tasmania sent some photos in, but I didn't have the end of the project that he did. Now it was a cutting table that he was making for his wife and I like it a lot. So let's have a look. This is in the glue up stage of the top. And what have we got next? That's the final of the top. And then we've got, Terry was doing some, what was he doing? He was doing some pocket holes with the Craig jig. And there he is at it. And then he also sent these photos in of the cabinets that he made that are going to go under the bench. And here's the finished project. that is really, really nice. So that's everything that she needs. There's a cutting mat under there in that middle drawer with a steel rule, and all of the associated bits for patchwork and things down the left-hand and right-hand side. I think that's wonderful. All right, now the next thing. Alan Flatt has made, let me come back to, no, I'll just stick here on this one. I'll go here, full screen. Alan Flatt, who is one of the guys from autoblastgates.com.au, really, really nice guy and such a talent. There was a tree that was in a schoolyard. It was a red gum, and it had to be removed because it was dropping branches. And let me just read here. It was a school for kids with disabilities, had to be cut down to start to drop branches which obviously couldn't be tolerated near children who may have reduced awareness and reactions. Now he's made 2 projects out of this one tree. First of all, I'm going to show you the tree stump. That's the stump from where the tree was. Okay, and then next thing we're going to have a look at a lectern that he made. Now that's pretty classy, isn't it? Another picture of the lectern from the front. You've ordered some blast gates. Good on you, Steve. And also he made a dining room table and chairs. Isn't that just amazing? And another picture of the chair out. Alan, you're a talent, mate. You leave me behind. There's no way that I could do that. I wouldn't have the patience. Not at all. So we'll come back to here. Now, please send your projects in. You've seen what I'm doing. You've seen what Alan's done. You've seen what Terry's done. You've seen what a whole heap of people do. We're doing, you know, everyone has got different capabilities, different talents, different qualities of work that they want to work to. I don't care. Send the stuff in and I'll try and get it up on the screen. Oh, the other thing I need to show you is a picture of the, where are we? Len Starkey. Remember, Len won the eye muffs, and his good wife took a photo of him wearing the eye muffs, and here it is. Good on you, Len. Thank you very much for sending those in. All right, now the next thing. Yesterday, I got started on these. Now, this is the front leg of the Lutyen bench. So it's going to be there. See this little cross here? There's going to be a rail across here to another one of these. And eventually we'll put that whole thing onto this bench here. It's going to look really, really nice. So how I came up with that, let me see if I've got some pictures. The pattern. I laid the bench on its back onto a piece of 3mm MDF, and I measured the distance in from the end of the sheet to the leg to make sure that was parallel to the end of the sheet. Then I traced all around it, and then the end of the tracing wasn't rounding down because it was going up to the rest of the back of the bench. So I got a piece of 6-inch stormwater pipe, and I have finished the video on the 6-inch system. It'll be being released during the week sometime. So that's just left over from it. And that's what I ended up with. And so I cut that. And I was going to go to another picture, but that was the last picture that I had there. So let me see, come back up to this one. So I have the pattern and I've made that one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an easy way for me to transfer the pattern onto this. This is one straight line down this side of the bench. There's no fancy curves, and this is another parallel straight line to it. So what I'm going to do is work on another piece which I've got ready for the leg. He says looking around the workshop, hopefully he's going to see it. And we're going to put it over the jointer, take it over to the table saw, we'll rip this section, then we'll go over to the bandsaw and we'll cut this part, and then we'll put it on the router table and follow the pattern, This is only going to take a fraction of the time it took last time because I'm not going to talk too much. And then we will domino into the ends, this one and the other one and the middle rail, and glue it together. That's what I hope to get done in the next 35 minutes. Fingers crossed for me. All right, I'm going to move this camera down now while I can. Down to the table saw. And hopefully it's going to stay all together for me. I think that's going to look pretty good right there. Let me have a look. All right. Under the keyboard. You know what? Thanks, Tiffo. I'm an idiot. All right, let's go to the other camera. And that's looking pretty good down there. I'll swing it around to the jointer in a second. Okay, I'm an idiot. All right. Now this is the piece of timber. Thanks for Tippo to let me know where it was. And it hasn't been dressed, so I need to dress that up. So I'm having a look down there. I think I'll go with this side. All right. Where are we? And my eye muffs. I'll stand the camera up a little bit so you can see what's going on over there. All right, you can see that, I'm hoping. And let's see how everything goes with the blast case. Beautiful. Nearly. Actually, that'll do it. All right. Now back over to this camera. Can you hear the dust extractor still running? And then turned off. Give me a second. I've just got to grab my remote. So you watch that. Talk to each other for a second. Up the stairs. Oh, it's a beautiful sunny day outside now. There we go. I found the remote and I'm heading back. The only thing is with this remote, because it's wireless, if I sit down in the chair, it's extractor turn itself on sometimes. I think, what's that noise? Oh yes, the dusty. So here we go. I'm back. Back. And this one, and back over here. Now this is the width that I want this one to be. I'll measure that. 69, all right? Now I'm going to put this on here and get it like so, because this is a perfect copy of the template. And I'll mark it. That's the side we jointed, yes. And around the back there. Cool, that's it. Now I'm going to get my square and draw a line across to the edge here. From the back, of course, because the back is the square section. I can't go off here because I haven't cut that parallel or square or anything yet. So that's my point there that I need to come to. I'm going to draw a line out to there. And I'm also going to transfer that across. Now it's very important that I do this. Hold it still as well is also very important, because circular saw blades finish at a different point at the top as to where they finish at the bottom. Now I'm going to put a piece of tape across here. I think I've already set the saw up to the correct depth. I always set it so that the bottom of the gullet is in line with the top of the timber that I'm cutting. This is a rip blade. It's designed for cutting along the grain. Very few teeth. It's got 24 teeth in this particular one and a large gullet to clear the waste quickly. All right. How do I set this up? I'm going to bring my rip fence right the way over to there. Actually, before I do that, I'll get a bit of tape. Now, I can't see any comments, so I'm just traveling blind here. And I'm going to put this tape like so. Now, I'm going slightly uphill from the blade because I want to be able to write on the piece of paper. Now, I have back here anti-kickback pawls. Now, that's to stop timber coming back. And there's one on the other side. So I need to stay back from that pawl a little bit with the fence. Otherwise, it's going to throw things out of kilter a little bit. Now, swing this back to there and lock it. And don't put it like so. Turn it over for two reasons. I'm going to have the back of the square touching the rip fence. And the front of the square, I'll swing you around this side now. The front of the square, I can draw a line on that paper. Now, the other thing is, I'll just move it back a little bit to basically accentuate what I'm talking about. This is zinc. This is steel. Zinc is a whole lot softer than steel. I don't want to damage the carbides on my blade at all. So I'm going to rotate that until I'm just touching that point there. And I'm going to draw a line on that. So what I've done now is I've transferred the bottom of the cut out here where I can see it. The next thing to do is to open this fence up so that it's the same width. Pardon me, I'll just slide through here. Or slightly larger. I want to give my pattern a little bit of room. So I'm going to pop that in there. Bring the rip fence back just a touch to about there. And lock it. That's going to give me clearance of maybe 1.5 millimeters for my system to work. Now this line here has got to line up with that line at the end of my cut. So I'll lower that down and I'll put my eye muffs on and we'll turn the table saw on in a second. First of all, turn the dust extractor on. I'll check that the stream's running correctly there. Yep. All right. This has already been cut to length. Here we go. I'm going to lift it up ever so slightly as we go onto the tape. I know where the blade is by looking at that. Okay, see my point here? We're coming up to where the blade is. And I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to wait for the blade to finish turning. See it spinning away like crazy there. Respect the tools. You can see the distance from there back to that line. That's what it's all about. Pull this back. And now I can transfer that mark across and we're going to be so close. That's my mark there. So that has stopped me going all the way through here and turning around and saying, what the stuff in hell was I thinking? So there we go. Now I'm going to cut across here with the bandsaw and then cut the rest of that shape out with the bandsaw. All right, I'm going to move this one down here and swing a couple of things around. Move that out of the way, that out of the way for the moment. Grab the other camera, I'll swing this one over. Where are we? Patreon cam with the chat. All right, I'll have a quick read. We're doing well for time. Okay, working on a bench. What are you all working on? Okay, that's a good idea. I like the idea with the tape. Yep. Make a Lutyen bench. They're beautiful. I've already lined up with the neighbour for them to come down and have a couple of glasses of wine. You may have seen the post that I put in on, where was it? On Facebook during the week, where Vicky and I went to the Easter show. And we're walking around, and one of the pavilions we went into, they had wine tasting. We thought, that looks pretty good. I'll just push this up out of the way there. Looks nice, and so we bought some, and it was really heavy carrying it around the show. So we went into the main arena, and I had a Tupperware cup, and Vicky had a thermos. She'd brought some tea and stuff with her, and so a little bit of a tip. It was funny, as the afternoon went on, our encouragement of the horses as they were going over the hurdles became a little bit more boisterous. Did you know that every horse that was in that competition was Trigger? I called him Trigger. Go Trigger! Anyway, he had to be there. I'm thinking again. So now we're going to down here. Mulled wine in the snow sounds like a nice idea. Let me see, camera 3. And that one might work. That one might work. I'm just going to move that camera a little bit. Yeah, about there. Now the other thing is this one is also hooked up to the automatic blast gate, which I absolutely love. I'm grabbing my eye muffs because bandsaws are a funny thing. All right, now what I've got to do first is I've got to cut this section. I might just come straight across to clear that piece out and then do all my mucking around. Okay, here we go, see if it's going to work. Yes, and we've got blast gate is working, everything's pulling there. Keep that, I'll use it further down the track. All right, let's go this way. And this one. Just getting a bite in there so I can come in on that curve. That's better. Good. The main thing is to keep pushing while you're turning. Or keep turning while you're pushing for a circle like this. And I'm keeping my hand a fair way away because with bandsaws, there's a bit of pressure you have to put on to keep cutting, and then when you finish the cut, it will release quickly and you advance the blade faster than you think sometimes. So I keep away, so that's going to do me. And back to this one. Yep. Hi-ho silver. It was it silver? Yeah, it was. I should have, silver and, I was going to say Tonto. No, silver and what's his name? The other guy. Trigger. Roy and Trigger were riding tonight. Okay, now I need to focus here for a second. It doesn't really matter if I put this on this way or on the back. So I'm going to put it here. No, because it's identical. I might go to Carl Cam for this part. Where are we? There we go. But what about those projects? I love it. I love seeing people's projects coming in. There, this way, this way, this way. Like so. So the old blue tape trick right down the middle. And another one over there. Yeah, I think I'm going to buy a new blade for that saw. I think I'm going to buy a bimetal blade for it. Because bandsaws are something you don't really want to have to push. Just making sure that I'm in about the same spot. Push hard. I'm a firm believer of letting the blade cut. Rather than forcing something. You know, it's a huge thing. The super glue. I keep on thinking about that Elton John song. Roy and Trigger, they're riding tonight. I think that's good. I'm all the way around there and there and there and there. Good there. Okay, flip her over. Like so. And lean on it. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about the carbide blades, Stephen, but I've heard a few people aren't all that impressed with them. That's why I was thinking maybe the bimetal. It might work better. What's other people's opinions? Has anyone else got... I might have to get smaller shirts. Has anyone else got an opinion about what kind of bandsaw blade is a really, really nice one and not too expensive? Okay, that's pretty good. We're doing well. We're doing so well in time. All right, back down to there. I think we're going to get this glue up done. I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to get absolutely everything done, but I think we're going to go well. All right. Good. There we go. It's not going anywhere. Just making sure that it's holding on well, which it is. Good. I'm going to have a look at the other camera and see if it's in the right position. It's not bad. Henry Brothers, yes. That's where I was going to get it. Now I've got to find my eye muffs. I'm going to tip that up ever so slightly, possibly about there. Eye muffs are over here. And I'm going to bring my sheet over as well because I don't want to get lost with what I'm doing. Now I did mean to make comment last week. I didn't have this in last week. Now this is to stop you getting your hand cut. I'll show you what I mean when I actually use it. First thing I'm going to do is put in the 1/4 inch collet. Now with any of these, always do that to shake the rubbish out, because if you don't get rid of that, these jaws can't close in properly. Pop that into there. Now the dust extraction is not going to work very well on this at the moment, because that's just how it is. I'm going to raise that up a touch, and the spinner. That's got him. And everyone knows that unless that's in the switch down here, this can't go anywhere. And Triton's lock in the middle until you lower it down. Now it will turn. Next thing I have to do is check the height of the template so that I'm writing against the template, not against the actual job. Move all that out of the way. So I'm too high now, so you need to come down. And that, my friend, is looking very good. And lock it in position. I'll go around the other side and open that other gate up. That's why I like these automatic gates. I've yet to do all the automatic gates on this part here. I explain it all in the video. Now, quickly read my sheet here. Table saw, bandsaw, blue tape to the template, brass pin, done. Trim route to template. Yep. We're going to do 2 passes with this. And then we're going to switch that out and go to a bigger one. I am thinking about bringing this over, but no, I'll leave it there. Leave that there, and that'll all be good. All right, making sure that's open. Now, as promised, I'm going to tell you why I've got that there. That brass is my pivot point. So I can advance the piece of timber up to the cutter without any fear of it grabbing. If it does grab, I have all of this leverage back here that I'm in control. This thing's not going to control me, I'm controlling it. You know those things they say about electricity? Makes a great servant, but a shocking master. All right, I'm going to turn on the dusty. It's working okay, but we'll see. It's only as I approach it. In a sec, I'm just going to move this rip fence over a little bit further. It was catching. There we go, that's our first pass around with the template. We'll raise this up. No, I have to raise it up. So this is actually going to, where are we? Come from there. So the job is actually going to be the template itself now. Cool, lock the height. And for beginners, I'm going with against the direction that the blades are pointing. If you go with the direction away, if you go the other side, it's going to want to grab hold of the timber and pull it. This way, it's cutting in. Now there are times where you need to go the other way, but you know, that's the absolute safest way is to go towards the cutter. All right, here we go. Whilst that's slowing down, you can see where we're up to. That's looking pretty cool. I'll switch out turn the dusty off. Next thing I'm going to do is switch out the cutters and the collet. I'll go to, and remember I've got the yellow thing out, so I'm safe. That's locking. This one here. Most routers, when you release the first part, it's still got a hold. There's a second grab. It's just how they work. There's the second one, and now that can come out. I'll undo this one. This particular router has got two different collets that I work with. This is a 1/2 inch, and as I said, do that. Drop this in. Now, a lot of the time, cutters will have what's called a K-line on them. This one doesn't, but I don't like having them drop all the way to the bottom. So I put them in till they're on the bottom, then I lift it up ever so slightly, and then tighten up. I'm lifting it off the base by about 1 millimeter. It's just how I was told to do it. Lower that down, and then this one, we're going to turn the template over, and I'm going to go this way. And we're going to be running, because the bearing on this one is on the top. Remember, the bearing on the other one was on the base of the cutter, closest to the router. This one's furthest away from the router. And this is a spiral up cutter. I keep telling people this, and I don't know why. Yes, I do. Because, you know, everyone's new to coming on to watch the show, and you know, there's people that watch it a lot, and they've heard me repeat this time and time again. Well, you just have to put up with it. That's in nice and tight. I have clearance. I have this. I can now put that in here and turn the dusty on. All right, coming in with this again. It just gives me so much more control. Done. No, Peter, I'm going to have a look at another one. I've really got to get down there and have a good think. In the video that I'm releasing during the week, you'll see some of the measures that I've put in place already. But I don't want to tell you about that quite yet, because I don't want to spoil it. Also, the icon that I've done for the video might be seen as a little bit ribald. You tell me, when you see it, you say, Dave, no, you shouldn't have done that. I'm sure there's people who are going to think that. Other people are going to say, yeah. All right. Just a putty knife, and we slide that straight down where the tape was. between the template and the job. Done. We're not throwing that template away. We're going to use this in the next stage next week. I think about these things. I have a glass of port in the bath, I tell you, and these things come to me. And I think, of course, eureka. Yeah, there's probably so many different videos out there about dust extraction. I had to do something a little bit different with the icon. It's a bit of a clickbait, but it's about the topic. It's about the topic, but it's a bit of a clickbait. All right, next thing to do is that piece that I had down there. And my square and a pencil. And they're all there. And the run sheet. 5-2. We're going to go over around about 20 minutes. If you want to hang around, that's great. If you don't, that's fine as well. All right. Look at that. How nice is that? All right. I've got to transfer the measurements because I did all this prior to the show because I didn't want to get those exact measurements wrong whilst I was thinking about what was happening on the show. So that's all good. I'll get the square and check for length. Yep, that's good. Transfer those across. And that one. And now I've got to get the center of this. Well, it doesn't have to be the center. It can be a little off. So I'll just run a line across there for the moment. This is for the domino. And we're going to use the 12mm cutter on the domino. I will domino these first, then I'll get the long piece. About what that looks like. Ah, I hadn't even considered that. I had not. There we go. Doesn't look like it now. Got 98 people watching, have we? All of these people with nothing to do. All right. Lock that in position. I think I'll put it about there. A couple of dogs. I had not even thought. Hadn't even thought. Yep, domino. I've got to switch out the cutter in it. At the moment, it's got a 5mm. Give me a sec. I should have done this prior, but I hadn't. Yes. I had not even considered what you were talking about then. Okay, that one and that one. 12. All right. This machine, I don't know if you've seen these things. This basically is a machine that puts in a, yes, of course it is. I was just reading down the comments there. I'll switch this around to tight. This puts in a mortise for a slip tenon. So these are the slip tenons. Basically, this is called a domino, and this is called a domino XL700. This guy goes in here, down there, and the other way up, of course. And we go pop, and then the front comes off it, nice and easy. Then we lock. It's not plugged in. It's out of the power cord at the moment. And crack that. This is the router cutter. Thumbs done. Excellent. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel while you're there. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because there's some people don't like the shows, and some people do. Like, you know, I try and make it as interesting as possible, And as I say, I'm getting back into doing the videos again. I've got this one on the dust extraction. I'll be doing one on the jointer soon, the thickness machine. I'll be doing all sorts of videos on all sorts of different things. But this project, I think it's more interesting if you watch it over time. There's a lot to absorb in one hit, so I'm trying to spread it out over time. The domino goes back into its fence table, whatever you want to call it. I've set the depth of plunge to 50 millimeters, and that should be enough. I'm not going, if I was going into the face, well then I can set it to go a narrower distance, but I'm going to be going across from this side. I'll be coming in here. So let's do it. Let's do it. And plug it in and plug it into the dust extraction. Very important with the domino to plug it into the dust extraction, because we want to be able to actually remove all of the dust that's in the hole as it's drilling, as it's routing it out. Don't fall off. So there's the dust port there. That's on, and plug it into the power supply, which turns the dust extractor on at the same time. And IMUFs. Yes, I have videoed all of the assemblies, Peter, but there was so much happening in my life around that time that I just had to put it on the back burner. But I will be getting to it. I've had a few people asking me about it. Very, very nice machine. I love it. G'day, Mr. Pickle Woodworking. All right. Just making sure we're the right depth, which we are. We're going to be coming in halfway there. Here's the point. I'll go to Carl Cam for this. You might be interested to watch from up there. Carl Cam. There we go. That's the width of the timber. That's my line that I'm going to line up with the plastic viewing lens here. Slider on. And away we go. And that is what it does. We give it a tap out. A little bit of dust left in there, that's all good. We'll do the other one. Notice how I've marked them out left and right. There's the line there. Now, the next thing, move the keyboard out of the way and the little trim router. This is the rail that's going to go across the front. I will switch up to the other camera, like so. Now I have to put the corresponding mark on there and there and there. All right, now move those out of the way. Put them back in there. And domino over here for a second. Put this there. And pencil. That's looking pretty good there. That's my line. I already cut this square before the show. So this is face, top, and R for right. And we'll write right on this one, R for right over there. And we'll mark the other end at the same time while we're here. Why not? This is left. Looking good. Square. Cool. All right, that down there. We'll be gluing it up in 5 minutes. Put that one there. Get a clamp to hold it. I love this bench. It's just so good. All right, a little bit of a noise. Lining this one up. Other end. And this one. Ah, the suction's fantastic. I'll give you a heads up. The video that I do on the suction, the increased suction I've got from going from a 4-inch system up to a 6-inch system in the dust extraction system in the workshop is 50%. That's huge. Still the same 2 horsepower impeller. So still a 2 horse dust extractor, but I've increased its velocity at that same 4-inch hose that's at the end, just by having everything else all the way through 6-inch right up to that end there, 50% more. And I show you everything that I did to do that. There's a couple of tricks I did to the dust extractor as well. You need to watch it. Okay, this one, bit more noise. Cool. Check the description box below, the video description. All of the links are there for things if you want to get them. There are some affiliate links and some of them are not affiliate links. So that's how YouTubers put food on their table. Affiliate links. And also if you let the ad run, that's always nice as well. What are we up to? 10 past. I'm going over to this table here. I'll move a couple of things off. All right. So from there, have a look at this. I'll stand the bench, the back up, and you can have a look. And it stands on its own. What do you think of that? 6-degree lean back. It's going to be beautiful to relax back onto. All of this part here is also friendly to touch. This is the bottom of that tape that I was telling you about to stop it bleeding all over the place. So we'll take that down. I'll move it along here. All right. Roy and Trigger. It was so much fun at the show. We were naughty. I know that. I know that you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff in a public event, but we were young and reckless. I'm going to mix up some glue. Well, for a couple of mid-60-year-old young and reckless kids. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with going to the Easter show, but we changed trains down at Lidcombe. I think it was Lidcombe on the way in. Yeah. Anyway, So you go down to this other platform. It's a little bit like Harry Potter, you know, platform 9 3/4. We went from there. I'll start mixing glues while I'm talking, so I'm not wasting too much time because I can't really do anything while I'm talking. I'm going to use the fast again, fast hardener. This time it's not going to be so much of an issue to me because we've only got 2 joints. And my stirrer, wherever it is. Yeah, so I'll keep stirring this while I'm talking. So Vicky and I are wandering along and onto this other platform that's specifically for Olympic Park for the show. So as we're going along, there's some older people in front of us, and the woman, there was a woman, one of the station assistants, opened this little gate and said to this couple in front of us, "Come through." And I was looking at it thinking, why are they coming through? There's seats there. For the pensioners, they let them sit down on the platform, and all the rest of the public have to sit back. And Vicky and I went straight through as well. There wasn't really any batting of an eyelid. They just let us straight in. And so we're sitting down there, everyone else is standing up trying to... And of course we went on Seniors Day where it was all half price. Oh dear. The bench is being made out of 2 types of timber. All of that back, except for the rails, well actually all of it except for these long pieces, is New Guinea teak. Now I'm using epoxy. I'm not washing it with acetone or anything like that. One of the reasons I'm using West System glue. It's a West Systems epoxy, it's 105 resin, and mixing it with the fast hardener. Yeah, so so I'm not cleaning it with acetone. The reason being, I've heard people say that if you do that, I machine it and then I glue it straight away. If you wash it with acetone, they say that it pulls the grease out of the timber up to the surface more than if you just left it alone. So I don't know. I'm quite happy just doing it with the domino and then into it. Oh, this is looking good. Oh dear. It's fun. And the show was great. We had a great time. Of course, we stayed for the pug judging, and those little guys, they were cute as. Must have been about 5,000 pugs. They'd start off with best dog, best bitch, and then through to puppy and all that kind of stuff. And they just kept on coming. Yeah, one woman obviously was a breeder, and she might have had 10 there, and she had an assistant. So they'd bring one pug out, and she'd go with it. She'd win a blue ribbon. She'd throw the ribbon over, and the other dog over to the assistant, and bring out the next dog, and round they go. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to check that there's no dust jammed in the end. There was a little bit there. Yep. The naughty kids. I'm going to put the dominoes in the end to start. And get my brush. I've got the brushes here. Yeah, and then they had the stunt riders on the motorbikes doing these jumps and turning around all over the place in the air. They were amazing. And actually, I'm surprised. I didn't think Vicky would like it, but after she watched it, she said they are unbelievable. And they were. A little bit down the inside there, just to make sure that we've got a full bond. Bond. James Bond. I'm keen for the next Bond episode. Does anyone know when it's going to be released? And if you have a look at the picture that I put on Facebook of us being naughty with the Tupperware containers and the port and the Moscato, you'll see there's a woman just behind Vicky's head, behind us, in the row behind us. And she's kind of got this half smile on her face. And then I looked across to her husband, who was sound asleep. And I just wondered to myself what she was thinking. I'm wondering whether she was kind of saying, oh, those naughty kids, or I wish I could hang out with those guys. It takes all types. We're all at different stages of life, I guess. Beautiful. Okay, so I've got a domino in each end. I'm going to put some paper down over there. When I find, here it is, baking paper. And I'm going to use some clamps as well. One there. One there. Yeah, it was a good fun day. We got the giggles. That's a sign of a good fun day, isn't it? When you get the giggles. Left and right. This is top, so I'm going to put it this way over. Like so. Push it up to the end a bit there, because I want to put a clamp on it. Good. I'll grab that other camera and bring it up so you can see a little bit closer as to what I'm doing. All this, hopefully the glue won't go off. Now it's looking all right. I did notice the other day, there we go, like so, that if I poured a little bit out and didn't keep it so thick, it lasted a bit longer. So I'm going to pour some out into another cup. So that it doesn't, if it does start to go off, it's not going to have another cup with only a small amount in it. A bit more. You reckon so, Stephen? All right, I'm going to put the glue on here. On there, 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 and there. It was a fun day. And I'm going to turn that over in a second as well. I'll do the other end, because you'll know that I don't have any glue on the other side at this stage. So flip her over. I'm putting a whack of glue in here on purpose. Cool. Pour a bit more out. Decanting from one side to another. All right, legs. Legs 11. Okay. Which is top? Ah, that was the top. Okay, so it's got to go that way. So this is right, and that's right. Beautiful. We'll put some glue on this one first so you can see what's happening. And as you can see, I'm not worried about getting glue on the job at all. Like, I'm not worried about blue tape or anything. I'm just going to go to all the way to where that is. Both sides. That's good. Slide that one in. Good. And the other end. I don't know. Am I the only person that gets a buzz out of this kind of stuff? I just love it when something goes right. And I shouldn't have tried to be as ambitious with the first glue up. I was looking at it all and I was thinking, you know, I shouldn't have even put the top of the back into the glue up series. I should have left that out and just glued up all the other stuff and then be able to push it all together with some rigidity. In the frame and not worry. Good. That's looking really nice. Okay, now I need a couple of clamps down the length. Harry made comment that he hadn't seen the trick of 2 clamps to pull it together. I don't have any really long ones. I wouldn't mind a couple of long ones. I might buy some pipe clamps. So we're going to go that way. I'm overhanging the end of the bench down this end on purpose. Tip that up a little bit so you can come back a bit more. On purpose, so I can put a clamp on there to lock it, to hold it down. I noticed a few people were saying the other week that I might have had a bit of an issue with the thing rolling, lifting up, and I did, as a matter of fact. So to alleviate that problem, I'm going to make sure that I've got area here with the dog holes to put clamps in, and down here. Now start to pull it up. We'll close it up. Don't fall off. Work that end. Now, I don't think it will roll, but I'm going to put clamps on there anyway. Ah, that's right at the end. Okay, that's why that's not going any further. 25 past. That's okay, I can live with that. 2 of them and 1 of them. Oh, 2 of them, why not? Why not? If you've got them, use them, why not? Okay, those guys there. These ones down here. That's why I leave overhangs on my benches, like on these big bench. So I've got clamping points. Whoop, I've spun the camera around too far. That might work. Gotcha. And this one. And this one. Come on, out of there. In. And around. Beautiful. That is done. I'm going to check for square on the internal. If it isn't square, well, that's just going to be bad luck, I think. I did check that my... I got to show you that. I got to show you. Okay, here we go. There's that. Get you in line so you can watch down the side. Here's the square. I'm happy with that. Happy with that. All right, back glove off and back to the main camera. All right, there we go. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now I want this. It's not, yeah, it's just starting to get warm now. We'll see how that goes. It's funny when you're dispensing the glue, I always panic, oh, I haven't got enough hardener in there, because it's only a little squirt of hardener, and then you're pushing the resin in, and it's whatever it is, 5 to 1, and you're pushing it down, and it just keeps on going. You think, surely that's enough, but see what happens. If it doesn't stick, I'll pull it apart, but I think it will. List and coffee. Nearly half past. I wonder if anyone's staying and watching. How many numbers have we got there? All right. All right, here we go. Trim to template, change bit to long, mark the dominoes, 12 millimeters, paper and glue clamp rail. Patreon meeting. That's the next thing to happen. Oh, and I got a new patron. I'm going to read out the patrons again. There's a certain tier. If you support me, which is, it is so appreciated. If you support me on Patreon, you get to a certain level and I'll read your name out on the show every now and then. 97 on YouTube. That's amazing. That was 97 people that don't have a life. All right. The patrons bringing you the show today, apart from all of the patrons, and there's not a lot, but all of the patrons, I just say that to make myself sound like I'm important. Out of these ones get a mention. Johannes Mohr, John Parra, Vincent Ngian, John Lafferty, Peter Woolworth, Brian Del Vecchio, Justin Bailey, Brett Guthrie, Mike Deam, Wayne Cargill, John Lynch, and Trish. Trish is a new one this week. Thank you so much to everyone who's doing that. This week also on Wednesday night, Ebony is releasing her next video on YouTube. And I've already seen it. And if you thought last one was good, her first episode, the second one leaves it for dead. It is a beautiful video. If you want to see iconic Australian beaches, and I'm not talking about the ones around Sydney, these ones are like, if you've ever been to Fraser Island, the water at this beach is as clear as Lake Mackenzie. And that is a massive statement. The water is beautiful. Seals come in and play with the people while they're swimming. Can you believe it? And they've got video of that in the episode. You really do need to have a look. I've got a link to Ebony's YouTube channel. It's on the Warpath, it's called. Ebony is my youngest daughter, and she's looking great. You can see that the traveling is really is doing her health wonders. She's all tan, she's looking fit and athletic, and you know the whole family is just on top of it. All right, Whiplash, Peter Graves, what do you guys, we Clampston to last week's show, it's amazing the detailing of the bench is coming along. It's a beautiful bench. All right, for great white seals, well these ones aren't, they're just sea lions I think, or leopard seals, one or the other. Anyway, they're beautiful seals, maybe fur seals. But yeah, they know the shallows, they know don't go out too far because the great white sharks are out there and that'll be the end of you. All right, Patreon meeting in a couple of minutes. And thank you so much everyone for watching and looking after me. And I want you to look after yourselves as well. And if I come down here, I'm sure I'll get this. I think I will. Be nice to each other, and I shall see you next week. Bye.